Hello. I'd like to share with you a part of my self-realization journey. When you first come into non-duality and you're intrigued by it, you typically realize that you've got some major hurdles to overcome to experience this so-called pot of gold at the end of the journey. And again, the paradox is there is no journey because the pot of gold is already here and present permanently. But to an ego, there appears to be a journey ahead. And because it's non-duality, we let things just be as it is. We go on a journey. And it seems as if, at least for this character, there was a science piece that I had to get over, and there was a religion piece that I had to get over. And I'd like to share with you my religion piece. I was raised as a Catholic, and I went to church every week, every Sunday. Up until I was about 12 or 14, I went to catechism every week, and so I was indoctrinated into the Catholic religion. And when I was young, I was okay with it, because as a child, you only hear what is directly being spoken to. You only hear Jesus saying, at least this is what I heard in general terms. Jesus said two basic things to me. You are love, and to share that love. It was that simple. But as I aged and more dogma started coming into it and more rituals and more of a box around love and sharing that, I became disenchanted with it. And by the time I was 15 or 16, I'd left the church. This isn't for me. There's too much hypocrisy here. And so on. And I just continued on with my life. And, into my 20s, 30s, and 40s, I'm now 54, and so this realization happened when I was about 50, is that I always had this knowing within me that Jesus was trying to say something that the church wouldn't say or wouldn't go there or didn't understand. It didn't matter. I'm not trying to knock on the church. That doesn't matter. All that matters is that what Jesus was trying to say is extremely simple and extremely impactful. So what I did when 15 or 16, I threw everything out. I threw Jesus and the church out. I thought they were one and the same because nobody told me that they were different. But when you look back, you're like, Jesus has no idea what a church is and what Catholicism is or Christianity, probably more specifically. But then I came across a man by the name of Marshall Davis, who has a podcast known as the Tao of Christ. And Marshall was the one who said, Scott, you heard it right. That is what Jesus said. Jesus is just love. He's an infinite being. And what he was really saying is, so are you. That's the gospel. That's the good news of the day. You are him. I and the Father are one. There's only one I. There's only one infinite I. And therefore Jesus' I is your I, is God's I. And it just opened me back up because I knew this inherently, yet I had nobody to show it to me until Marshall came into my life. And I just want to say thank you, Marshall, for pointing me to the truth. And that's how I got over the so-called Jesus hurdle or the Jesus blockage, is that, and this is kind of like all of non-duality. It's not until somebody points it out to you that you're like, oh yeah, I've known this. I've known this my whole life. And then you realize you've been this your whole life. And it's even bigger than that. You've been this for eternity. So I encourage you, if you're getting caught up here in religion and Christ and God and Christianity or anything along those realms, to go listen to Marshall Davis's podcast. Again, the Tao of Christ. And just a tad bit about Marshall. He's in his early 80s. He's been a Baptist. Baptist minister for most of his life, and he's been writing non-duality books and speaking this language for 20 or 30 years now. So, and again, thank you, Marshall. I hope this can help guide you and push you over this apparent boundary that will help you again turn within as sooner than later to experience the word of Jesus, of God, of Christ. So hope that helps. Take care.